All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday, and tomorrow the stock market is going to be closed. So all of the financial markets are closed. So we will not be talking about the equities markets tomorrow because today was the final trading day for the week. I'm wishing everybody a very, very happy Easter this weekend. So please have a great holiday weekend, but stocks got clocked, and I mean they got hammered. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 all markedly lower on the day off the back of record interest rates. So something that was really crazy, I was watching that 10-year U.S. Treasury Yield, as we always like to keep our eye on, and the 10-year U.S. Treasury Yield is in spitting distance of a 3% yield. And I believe today, for the first time since 2011, we had 5% interest rates or 5% rates on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how interest rates are impacting stock prices, more specifically tech stock prices, like the very high beta growth stocks. And then we will finish off the stream talking about the billionaire takeover of Twitter. And it's so bizarre, it's so crazy. I was sitting at my desk today, and I was working, doing my work, and I was watching Elon Musk fight with these Saudi Arabian princes over Twitter. It was quite bizarre, so we'll talk about that. Hey, the ABX girl is here. Good to see you, ABX girl. Vinny Castellanos says, good evening, Tom. Hope you had a good day. Good to see you, Vinny. Vinny is our good pal from the Staten Island. I almost said from the Bronx. The ABX girl is from the Bronx. Sunshine after rain. Good to see you. Sally says, hey, Tom. Chris Beeman says, hey, happy Friday Eve. Well, it's a little bit of a shortened trading week, obviously, for the holidays. So the stock market is closed tomorrow. I see my friend Otto says, hi, Tom. Good to see you, Otto. The ABX girl, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Says, you sound much better. I am feeling much better. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, ABX girl. I see War Walker. It says, hello, Tomcat. How you feeling? I am feeling good, even better now that you're here. British Gray from Tampa. Good to see you, British Gray. Who else do we have? Alan Wilson says, good evening, everybody. Good to see you, Alan. And Jamie Price says, good evening, Tom. Glad you're feeling better. I am. The Investigator, the one and only. What's up, Investigator? Says, walks on Wall Street, you make us want more. We missed you. Good to see you, my friend. So it is a beautiful night in Miami. Wow, was it a hot day today in Miami. It was like 85 degrees and rip-roaring sun. This was, I think, the first taste of the real Florida summers that we are going to have here. But I believe we are headed into the Florida rainy season. So yes, in a couple months, this is going to be the rainy season in Miami. So we'll have to adjust accordingly and deal with that. But it was a beautiful day, 85 degrees, bright sunshine. But boy, was it hot. Hey, Upstate Albany Walking Show. What's up, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Love Upstate New York. Jared Covey says, and we're back. What's up, Jared? Good to see you. Laura M says, hey, Tom from North Carolina. You know, I should be in North Carolina actually very soon. Very, very soon. Jeff says, howdy. Good to see you. Sinjib says, hey, Tom. How are you? I like to come to Miami, Florida. Dude, you got to come. You got to come. So we're starting the stream off a little bit further away from downtown. I got off the bus a couple stops early at the Omni, it's called, which is like the main bus terminal here in Miami. So we have a little bit of walking to do until we get to the main downtown in the FTX Arena. Ruby Falcone, I see you. What's going on, Ruby? But if you look straight ahead, you can see all of the major apartment buildings in downtown Miami, like the 1000 Museum, all the great sights we like to see. But check this out. Look at all of this new construction here. I think these are all going to be major luxury apartment buildings. But if you look into the distance right here, I think this is going to be a brand new highway that's going to be elevated, that's going to run all the way across to the Frost Science Museum. So a lot of building, a lot of construction. War Walker, do you know what they're going to build down here, or is it just going to be all luxury apartments? Michael says, short Twitter. Michael, crazy stuff that's going on. We'll talk about that tonight, but you know, it just got me thinking that if you think about way back in the day, just let me cross the street. Yeah, there's one thing about Miami. I don't trust any of the drivers here. I don't want to get knocked off. But here's the thing. Way back in the day, if you talk about like the Rockefellers and all them, all of these big business meetings in terms of hostile takeovers, buying major businesses, these all happen behind closed doors, like very secretive meetings. I mean, now you could just log on to Twitter and look at the richest man in the world going back and forth with a bunch of princes in Saudi Arabia. It is absolutely wild. I was thinking about that today. So as these multi-billionaires are battling it out for Twitter, you look in the comments and random people are putting memes and trolling these people. It's just really wild, and it just goes to show the absolute power and the magnitude of internet. With the internet, nobody's left out. Everybody could have a voice. It is just wild. Hey, Bernard Friedman says it looks like the Hudson Yards. Yeah, I mean, there's so much construction here. It's definitely wild. Hey, Buy the Book is here. It says, hey, Tom, thank you for the newsletter. Thank you for reading it. I very much appreciate you reading the newsletter, Buy the Book, so thank you very much. Santo is here. Good to see you, Santo. War Walker says, back in the day, the Omni used to be a mall. Wow. I didn't know that. Running at altitudes is multiple 50 basis point hikes coming. What is that going to do to the real estate and auto market? So running at altitude, I think that's the $1 million question. Because look what happened today. Massive reversal, big reversal in a lot of equities. More specifically, the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ was down really big, but we know why. Look at that 10-year US Treasury Yield. That thing went to Mars today. It's pushing up on 3%, and that is, obviously if we understand how to evaluate companies, the way we derive a valuation from a company is to predict their cash flows into the future, right? And that's why a lot of investment banking analysts will make something that's called a discounted cash flow model. So you're discounting cash flows into the future. And a lot of these very frothy, high beta growth stocks, a lot of their earnings are predicated in the future. So if interest rates are going up now, the value of those future earnings are worth less in today's dollars. But out of the Wall Street Journal today, the 30-year mortgage hit 5% for the first time since 2011. Kind of crazy. Hey, Arturo Flores, it's good to see you, my friend. Marty Lewis says, good evening, Tom and everybody. What's up, Marty? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Days Work says, what's up, Tom? It was called the Omni Mall. Hope you're well. Days Work, always good to see you. Salvi says, a very good Thursday evening to you, Tom, and everybody. Thank you. So I think tomorrow is going to be a pretty quiet day. Not going to lie. Today was very busy for me, but a lot of people are going to be out of the office tomorrow for the holiday. Obviously, the stock market will be closed, so there will be no trading tomorrow. Today was the last day of the week, and we didn't end on a pretty good note. We ended on a horrible note with a lot of stocks getting hammered today. Ruby Falcone, welcome. Gigi NYC, always good to see you. Says hello, Tom and chat. Hope you had a good Thursday, Gigi. Javier Castro says, hey, Tom, all the best from Vina del Mar, Chile. Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And we love all of our viewers in Chile. So just a quick reminder, I did send out the 20th edition of the Behind the Street newsletter. Everybody should have gotten it. And I think the vast majority of people got it because this newsletter, for whatever reason, we have a 70% open rate. So I think we sent it out to about 797 people. And about 70% of those people opened it, which is insane. So I really want to thank everybody that took the time to read the newsletter. Ethan G says, happy Passover and Easter to those who celebrate, you as well. Thank you, Ethan, much appreciated. Humane says, hey Tom, what do you think of Twitter, of Elon Musk offering to buy Twitter? Yeah, so I'll give my thoughts on that really quick. First of all, I just think it is so wild how transparent the world is now because of the internet. Today I spent a lot of the time reading Goldman Sachs equity research report about Twitter. I think it was very biased. I think it was horrible. We'll talk about why. And Elon Musk was publicly fighting or arguing with one of the, I think it was one of the head leaders of the Saudi kingdom over Twitter, which was wild. And everybody has access to this sort of thing. So I think the offer, let's just talk about the offer for a second. I mean, Elon Musk offered a premium valuation for that company. Now, they're probably saying, oh, it was a lowball offer because Twitter's probably going to grow exponentially over the next 10 years. But I mean, he offered almost $60 a share, I think. It was like $54, $55 a share. So that is a steep valuation. So Elon Musk would essentially buy everybody out at that level. But there's no way they're going to take it. I think it's too political now. Hey, Javier says, in California, it's still day. Good to see you, Javier. So let me know if you guys could hear any wind noise, because the wind is really, really crazy tonight. Santo says, hey, sunshine after rain. Marty Lewis, good to see you, Santo. Lena Sandoval is here. Says, hello, Tom, and happy Easter. Happy Easter to you too, Lena. Thank you for joining tonight. So we are right under the very 1,000 Museum Mile. So even though we do have the microphone tonight, the wind is crazy. It's probably like 25 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour winds. Hey, Bernie Williams is 5x5 on the audio. Good to see you. Running at altitude, good to see you. Bernard Friedman, welcome. Bowser, good to see you, my friend. Bowser in video game. Hey, the Miami rep says the internet has been raving about your bump in with Action Kid. Yeah, so we actually met our good friend AK yesterday. I believe he was on his way to the Whole Foods. That was awesome to get to meet him in person. He's a very nice guy, very successful guy. Chris Beeman says Friday is the greatest day, Good Friday, when he took the nails in his hands and died for me, says Chris. Indeed. So tomorrow is Good Friday. The stock market is closed. And happy, obviously, Passover and Easter to those who celebrate in the chat. Jetstar says if Elon gets Twitter, the SEC will see that he doesn't get it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of speculation on that. But here's the thing. I think this is going to turn into a more political battle than it is a business battle, if that makes sense. And look, I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you guys think about Elon Musk's? Let's put business aside for a second. We could talk about the valuation. I mean, he offered a ridiculous premium, in my opinion. But do you think that by Elon Musk taking over Twitter, do you think it will be a good thing or a bad thing in relation to free speech? In relation to free speech, what do you guys think? I'd actually be really curious to know. Humane says, I think Elon should buy it. I think the price was fair. I mean, he offered a ridiculous premium. He offered a really, really ridiculous premium. So Humane says it's a good thing. Savi is here. Good to see you, Savi. Bowser in video game. Good to see you. So Lilith is very bad. Nick Rock says, I remember getting for my birthday as a kid. Good to see you. Hemp Lord says it's a good thing for free speech. Buy the book says, I think it might be a good thing. Michelle K says, hello, Tom. Good to see you, Michelle. So this is the Paramount building here in downtown Miami. Anthony says it would be an awesome thing for free speech. So I'll sort of give both sides of the argument here. And I think on the channel I like to have as much of an open mind as I can. So one side of the aisle is like, Twitter is banning and taking down things that are quote unquote misinformation. Right? I'm not saying it's misinformation, but this is the argument on that side. So here's the argument. Let's just sum it up really quick, because I'm going to tie this into something in a little bit. And I think it's good to sort of do this mental exercise. So one side says, look, free speech is fundamental. We understand that. But when do we draw the line between quote unquote hate speech and misinformation being able to run rampant on the internet? Now, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with that. That's one argument. The other argument is free speech should be totally fundamental, and big tech companies are purposely targeting people of a certain political bias. Now, I'm not saying that's true or not. I'm just giving those two sides of the argument. But what I will say is this: I believe free speech is totally fundamental, end of story. But I'll give you an example of like on the dark web, right? You can have people posting gruesome videos of beheadings and all this nonsense, like gang activity. And technically, people could say, oh, you should be able to post whatever you want. You shouldn't be able to post those things, right? I don't think that is considered freedom of speech or freedom of press. I think that would be considered or fall under like terroristic activity. So here's my point. So long as the speech or the content you put out on a platform doesn't directly threaten to harm anybody physically, directly or indirectly, I think it should be allowed to be posted on any platform. I think that's where I draw that distinction, because when we say, oh, it's misinformation, a lot of times misinformation can be deconstructed as it's the information that I don't agree with or disagree with. And I think that's where it gets into a little bit of a gray area. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. What do you think about that? GGNYC says, yes, I agree. Bowser says, what's with all the car noise going on? Yeah, I mean, Miami has like no restrictions on the car noise. It's kind of crazy. Hey, Nick Rock says, is there a book or video to learn about cryptocurrency, like crypto for dummies, that you would recommend? I would like to learn. I know absolutely nothing about it. So I would read the Bitcoin Standard. So check out the Bitcoin Standard. And if you signed up to read the newsletter, I actually was at the 2022 Bitcoin conference, where I got a chance to interview some of the most notable people in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So feel free to read that newsletter. If you want to read it, if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link where you could read it and learn more. Hey, Justin says, how does Miami feel in comparison to New York City in regards to typical amounts of people on the street? More people on the street in New York for sure. A guy in Back Bay says, no way, Tom, I don't agree. The Constitution says freedom of speech, not freedom of speech of things except these things. Okay, I respect it. Elliot Wave Review says, Tom, you said physically, but what about mentally, like bullying, racist, or hateful speech? Excuse me. Well, so that SME Media says, Tom, is pornography speech? I don't agree with it, but I tend to be more libertarian, as long as it's not involving children or minors, because there's been a lot of, and I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole, but I don't think morally it's right, but my moral opinion shouldn't be what everybody else thinks, right? Because this is America. But going back to, I think that was a really good question. It was very thought-provoking. So Elliot Wave Review says, Tom, you said physically, but what about mentally, like bullying, racist speech, or hateful speech? That's the number one question there. That's the number one question, because we all know bullying is wrong, cyberbullying is wrong, racism is wrong. But at the end of the day, people are able to have their own beliefs. But here's where I think it draws the line. If you are terrorizing somebody over the internet by saying racist things to the person, wouldn't you consider those threats? Wouldn't you consider those direct or indirect threats to that specific person or that specific group of people? So in that instance, would that not be allowed on a platform? I would agree that that probably shouldn't, right? And I think that sort of falls in the category between a lot of terrorist groups, because essentially what happened on the dark web, or it still happens on the dark web, a lot of terrorist groups from all over the world put very heinous videos online of beheadings and things like that. That I don't think obviously falls under freedom of speech, because that is directly impacting people's lives and provoking more violence. Deal for you says, good evening, Tom. Good to see a deal for you. I see Kareem, good to see you. I hope you're well. Jose says, good evening, good to see you. Jonathan Richards, what's up, my friend? Hope you're doing well. War Walker says, terrible cough. Good to see you, War Walker. Dutchman says, Tom, your Bitcoin article was very informative. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for reading. Hemp Lord, what's up? Smee Media, welcome. Good to see you. Hey, Mona D is here. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Jay says, but is it good to have only one company, only one owner of a social media company? So it wouldn't technically be like one owner, right? I think you would still have a board. You would probably still have a board and all those type of things, but it just wouldn't be a public. Hold on one second. Oh, I thought he was talking to me. It just wouldn't be like a publicly traded company. But if you think about it, here's my argument for that. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to make sure someone's not following me. If we think about Jeff Bezos and a lot of these other billionaires, Mark Benioff, for example. So Mark Benioff is the CEO and founder of Salesforce, but he bought Time Magazine, which is a big media company. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, which is a massive, I guess you could say, media company, right? Maybe legacy media. So I don't really think that the argument of, oh, Elon Musk, if he buys Twitter, that's going to be a bad thing. Well, I mean, a lot of billionaires are collecting media outlets. But I don't know. I think it's a good question. Cheryl is here, says, hey, Tom, good to see you. Cheryl. Robbie Jetter says, great, good night, and big hug from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining the chat. So we are now on the south side of these very beautiful buildings. This is the 1000 Museum. Hey, William St. Charles says, yes, it was. Love the Bitcoin article. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate everybody reading and supporting. Elliott Wave Review says, Tom, did you see the Saudis, who are the largest shareholders of Twitter, reject Elon's offer? Yeah, so Elliott Wave Review, we were just talking about that before you joined. It's and I think the biggest takeaway from that is, think about how much access the internet has given the average person, right? So during the time of the Rockefellers, you would never have an average everyday person being able to see the ins and outs of a big business deal negotiation. You would just never have it. But with the internet, you could be multitasking at work and also watching Elon Musk going back and forth with some of the Saudi princes that pretty much run the kingdom. It's kind of bizarre to think about. So I was reading into that a little bit. Supposedly they don't own as much of Twitter as it appears to be, but then again, their shares of Twitter could be custodied with other big investment institutions, right? It could be custodied with Vanguard. It could be custodied at Goldman Sachs. So I don't really think anybody knows how large the share or how large the position size in Twitter the kingdom actually owns. And if anybody does know, let me know. Jetstar says, do we really want the Saudis on Twitter? Yeah, so think about that. I think Jetstar's comment is interesting. Do we really want the Saudis on Twitter? Well, Elon Musk, this was, I want to paraphrase it because I'm not sure the exact tweet, but Elon Musk's tweet went along the lines of, okay, if the kingdom in Saudi Arabia owns a majority stake in Twitter, number one, what are your thoughts on fundamental journalistic freedom of speech? Now, why do you think Elon Musk asks that question to the Saudis? Does anybody know? I think it was kind of like a snarky remark because in Saudi Arabia, they murdered that journalist. So I think the Elon Musk, his whole point is, look, I want freedom of speech, and I think I'm the number one person that could bring that to Twitter. And if Saudi Arabia is the number one shareholder in Twitter, what are your thoughts on journalistic freedom of speech? Robbie Jeter says, I am one of those crazy people who would be drooling over the sports cars on the street. Well, there's definitely a lot of them here, my friend. Hey, Elaine Official says, hey, Tom, family reunion to watch you. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Jack Tripper, good to see you. Smee Media says, maybe Musk wants to take Twitter into space. He could. Definitely could. Hey, Dolly Girls Twins, good to see you. Jean Albano says, hello, Tom. How's your close to the weekend going? It's going pretty good. I'm actually kind of happy that the markets are going to be closed tomorrow. We had a brutal sell-off in the stock market, obviously because rates are going up. I think the U.S. 10-year Treasury Yield, I think the interest rate or the rate on the U.S. 10-year is going to blow past 3%, and I think we're going to settle right around 3.5%. That probably means we're going to get about a 6.5% 30-year fixed on the mortgage. So just to put that into perspective, we'll wait until the motorcycle passes. But just to put that into perspective, about 6 months ago, I locked in my interest rate right around 3%. Right around 3%. Hey, Chris West is here. What's up? Says, hey, Tom, good point on Twitter. I never thought about that. Yeah, and Chris, so with this, I think I'm a very opinionated person, but when I talk about these topics, I like to try to see both sides of the aisle, right? Because I don't want the stream to be too biased. So I do see where some people are coming from with the hate speech. My personal opinions on it are, look, I do believe there is fundamental hate speech. Right? I do believe that. Like, you can make terroristic threats to somebody over the internet, threatening their lives. I don't think that should be allowed to be on the internet. I think that crosses the line if you're actually physically threatening somebody, even if it's with words. Even if it's with words. Especially if you're doing it repeatedly. But to Elon Musk's point, if he asks the Saudi prince, he's like, hey, I'm seeing a lot of biases on Twitter, and I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on journalistic freedom of speech? Probably asking that because he knows about all the murders that took place there. So we were outside the Paramount building, but guys, I totally forgot. Tonight, we are going to see the brand new Miami Bull. Now, the brand new Miami Bitcoin Bull was unveiled at the 2022 Bitcoin conference, which I attended last week, but they just moved it, I think, to downtown Miami, right outside of the college. So I'm not sure where it is exactly, but we will go and look for it tonight. But I'll just give you one more quick look at the Paramount building. Hey, Fidel Cash Flows. The social media should be governed by the First Amendment, of which there is a body of case law already. Plenty of case law on hate speech, inciting violence, etc. Says Fidel Cashflow. It's a good point. That's a good point. Melee says, good evening from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and hello, Tom. Good to see you. So, I think there's one more point to be made about that. So, to Fidel Cashflow's point, there was, and this goes back to YouTube. So we'll talk about it from a standpoint of YouTube. So Donald Trump, and try to just be objective about this as possible. Try to remove all of your biases about the guy. It doesn't matter if you love the guy, it doesn't matter if you hate the guy. Let's just put that to the side. It doesn't matter. He recently, I guess he did an interview with the YouTube channel called, I think it was Nelk or something, Nelk or Nelk something, which is like, I'm not a big fan of them, but regardless, they put out an interview with Donald Trump. It got taken down by by YouTube. My friend sent it to me offline on some random website. I watched the interview. I probably disagreed with like 25% of the things Donald Trump was saying, but he said nothing along the lines that it should be taken down. I just thought that was appalling that obviously Donald Trump is not a very liked guy. I think it's good that he's not the president anymore, but to be so blatant as to take down just a random interview of a former president, I think that's a little bit ridiculous. And he didn't really say much. He just went on a random tirade about how Joe Biden is horrible. There was like no value in the interview, but it was just like a babbling tirade about nothing, but it got taken down. It was very bizarre. Hey, John Paul says, I saw the bull today. There was a tech fair at Miami-Dade College. Yeah, so there was. So we'll try to walk there today and check out the bull. I would take the Metro Mover, but I forgot my mask, and this guy is going to yell at me when I go up there. So we'll just have to go this way and around. Hey, Faith is here. It says clear views in Miami. Good to see you, Faith. For the love of God, says you're right. He is not well liked. Only 70 million friends. Yeah, so I think I will rephrase that. Not very well liked by mainstream medias and establishments. He does have a lot of supporters, but regardless, the interview got taken down. Sunshine after rain. This is a beautiful night. Good to see you, sunshine. It is really beautiful tonight. Brian says, hey, Tom and everybody. Good to see you, Brian. Bernie Williams says, if Twitter were to reject must bid, which analysts argue it cannot afford to do, he may target stakeholders by either seeking proxy votes for purchasing their shares. Well, I think what he may do, Elon Musk, man, guys, I'm not sure if you could hear the wind, but the wind is so punishing tonight. It's almost like I can't even breathe. That's how crazy the wind is. I think Elon Musk would threaten just to pull the ripcord and sell all his shares, which would tank the stock price overnight. NNB 045 says, happy Friday, Tom. Hope you're enjoying your walk. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Always good to see you, NNB 045. Hey, EBITDA says, hey, Tom, how's it going? What's up, EBITDA? So we're talking about the crazy battle between Elon Musk and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia over Twitter. Would love to know your thoughts. Man, that wind is brutal today. Smee Media says the wind only occasionally sounds like light static. Yeah, so thankfully I did have I put the wind mic on tonight. So we do have that wind blocker. Bernie Williams says, Tom, agree also. Yep. Yeah, I mean, think about that. He could just say, okay, you're not going to accept the offer. I'll pull the ripcord and sell all my stock, market sell the entire thing. And that'll probably just crater the stock 20% overnight, which they definitely don't want. So it's going to be totally wild to see how this plays out. Hey, Monady says, it feels like we have Miami's wind here in Detroit. Well, hopefully it's not freezing in Detroit. I know Detroit is known to be extremely freezing cold. But in New York, supposedly it was about 75 degrees today in New York. Brian says, thank you, sir. I love the stream so far. Thank you, Brian. Much appreciated. David Pershing says, Tom, your audio is amazingly good for the wind you're experiencing. Yeah, so I finally bought that little dongle. I'm not sure if you guys remember. So I've always had the microphone but I lost that little adapter that goes into the iPhone, because iPhones are so very much annoying that they don't have the headphone jack. So I finally was able to buy one. They were out of stock at the Apple Store for over 3 weeks. In which case I put a wind protector on the microphone, a wind guard, and it works great. And I think yesterday Justin Bieber was playing a concert here at the FTX Arena. Monadee says, yes, it is chilly. Yeah, War Walker says it's Mother Nature moving in the summer heat here in Miami. Well, I think right now we are moving in towards the rainy season in Miami. So supposedly, War Walker, what is that like? It usually rains about, for what, 2 or 3 hours a day and then stops? During our rainy season, I guess. Yeah, Brad's Brain. That's such a good point there, man. So Brad's Brain says, I kind of think the meme stock type crowd would jump in and buy Twitter back up if he dumps. Yeah, you know what? I was talking about that with my friend over text today. We're like, the retail crowd could really get in here and sort of try to pull what they tried to pull with like GameStop. But then again, obviously Twitter doesn't have that much of a short float, or the vast majority of Twitter shares are not sold short as it was with GameStop and all that. Hey, Corvette Gal says Long Island here. Love Long Island. That is where I'm from as well, South Shore, Nassau County. So here we are looking at the Freedom Tower. Yes, we do have our own Freedom Tower right here in downtown Miami. Very beautiful. One of my favorite buildings down here. Hey, Bernard Friedman says, usually it rains for about 10 minutes in Florida. You know, thank God, this whole week in Florida, there's really been no rain. I think it may rain a little bit tomorrow, though. Santo, good to see you. So another thing I wanted to talk about briefly. Hey, for the love of God, says I used to live near Jones Beach, about 5 miles from it. Dude, same here. We were probably neighbors. You know, even though a lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about Jones's Beach, I think Jones Beach is one of my favorite beaches of all time. Even better than some of the beaches down here. Maybe it's just because I went there all the time as a kid and I had such a good time there, but that is a very, very fun place. Especially if you go to Jones Beach for the 4th of July fireworks and all that. Really, really nice. However, a lot of people prefer Robert Moses State Park to Jones Beach. Has anybody ever been to Robert Moses State Park here? War Walker says, I went to Jericho High School back in the day. I lived in Westbury. Ah, very nice. A lot of New Yorkers in the chat. DJ Mike, what's up? Says, I love Jones Beach. Mike, I freaking love Jones Beach too. You know, I went there on the 4th of July before to see the fireworks, and there was so many people there that night. I think this was probably 2011, maybe 2010, 2011. Hey, Diana says, hey Tom, hope all is well with you. Yeah, everything is going good, Diana. Everything is going good. The market is closed tomorrow, so today was the last trading day. But I think the biggest movements today in the market were not in equities, even though the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the S&P 500 was down big. I mean, we've been having some crazy movements in the bond market. I mean, just look at that 10-year U.S. Treasury yield. I think we ended the day today at about 2.83% on that 10-year U.S. Treasury. And that has been driving up mortgage rates like crazy. So I was reading a Wall Street Journal article today, and I didn't have enough time. I guess we'll go down this way so we can see the mighty bull. I think it's down this way, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll have to ask War Walker. So here's another view of the Paramount building. But that 30-year mortgage rate is now above 5% for the first time since 2011. So for the first time since 2011, mortgage rates on a 30-year fixed are right at about 5%. And even though, let's see if we can cross here. I think we're good. And even though rates are going up so much, I mean, my hope is that it really knocks these home prices down a little bit, because I think a lot of wealthy people with access to capital have gotten the pleasure to pick up a lot of money for cheap. 2.5% rates, 3.5% rates. So when interest rates go up, that should, knock home prices down a little bit, but we'll have to see. Yeah, DJ Mike says you're locked at 2%. Yeah, so DJ Mike, I think I'm locked at like 3.5 or 3%. I gotta look. I think it's 3%. Hey, Greg is here. Good to see you. Hey, Greg says Jones Beach is the best. Good to see you, my friend. Smee Media says, Tom, if Musk got Twitter, would his first move to let back on the former president? Wow, I don't know about that. Maybe you're right. Hey, 09 says PS 181 in junior high, 231 in Queens, before moving to Jersey, now Florida. Very cool. Cindy Foley is here. Welcome, Cindy. It's good to see you. So you guys are about to see the Culinary Institute of Miami, I believe, is right here. I think I'm saying that right. 4U says rates going up, home prices will go down, housing market will correct. Yeah, so I think you have a good point, for you, and I hope so. I really, really hope so, because Harvard Business School did a study, and hold on, I'll tell you about the business school study in a minute. So this is the Miami Culinary Institute, right here. So Harvard Business School, back to Harvard, they did a study, and they said the vast majority of first-generation, single-digit millionaires, so first-generation millionaires meaning you didn't inherit your wealth, you don't come from a lineage of big tycoons in Southampton and things like that. Out of all of the first-generation millionaires in the United States, the number one thing that helped them out the most cross $1 million in net worth is the equity value in their homes. So why does that matter? Well, if we think about what that means now, the vast majority of people in America, well, here's what I speculate, is turning into a renter nation. So just like in many places in Europe, the vast majority of people rent because they cannot afford the money to come up for a down payment, in which case they can build equity in a home and become financially free and financially stable. What's happening is a lot of institutional money and high net worth individuals and foreign investors are coming in and outbidding all of the regular people in the market, like you and me, right? So if you're an institution, if you're a BlackRock or a Blackstone or really any large institution, they're buying not only multifamily units, but also single family homes as well, and using to rent them out to people like us. And the way they've been able to do that is because of the Federal Reserve keeping interest rates at artificially low levels. So how do they do that? The Federal Reserve keeps interest rates artificially low by buying mortgage-backed securities, by buying US Treasuries, putting pressure on those bond yields, because when you buy a bond and when a lot of people buy bonds, the yields go down. But when a lot of people sell bonds, yields go up. There's an inverse correlation there. So if you have a great credit score, if you have access to a lot of capital, if you have access to a lot of funding, I'm trying to look for the mighty bull, I can't find him. If you have access to a lot of funding, well, guess what? You're going to be able to borrow money extremely, extremely cheap, or free, as they call it, if it's below the inflation rate. And you're going to be able to acquire as much real estate as possible in order to rent it for cash flows to somebody else. So I hope that home prices come down. I hope that multifamily real estate comes down to allow the average person into the market for a more sustainable economy. Santo A, good to see you. Yeah, War Walkers to stay clear of the cop, Tom. Yeah, we did get yelled at before. Gregory's, McDonald's is next to the Culinary Institute of Miami. So this is the trading floor here. There's a trading room right here at Miami-Dade College. The only thing is we are trying to find the Miami Bull. It's supposed to be right here, but I do not see it. Maybe it's a little bit further down. Jay says, so where's the American dream? We don't have it anymore. So I do believe that the American dream is still alive and well, but you just got to adjust your strategy to play the game. And I think that big institutions and wealthy people know how to play the game in this new artificially low interest rate environment. But I think For You's comment, he said, look, as interest rates go up, I think that's going to put pressure on home prices. And hopefully it does a little bit. You know, I'd actually be very, very inviting and welcoming to a 20%, 15 to 20% correction in real estate. If that happens, I may even buy another property. All right, so, you know, I guess I'll catch up on the chat. This looks like an XRP logo. Hey, the ABX girl says, I am seeing Florida plates in my apartment complex every week. They are leaving Florida and returning to North Carolina. Condo construction areas are being abandoned in my area like 2007. Wow. So the ABX girl, you're saying, let me read that comment again. So the ABX girl says, I am seeing Florida plates in my apartment complex every week. They are leaving Florida and renting in North Carolina. Condo construction areas are now being abandoned in my area like 2007. So you're saying more people are moving to North Carolina, but they're abandoning construction on the apartment complexes? For use of some of the institutional money that purchased portfolios of SFR homes, single-family homes during 2008, will sell the top of this market? Maybe. I guess Zillow did, right? To your point, I guess Zillow sold the top. I guess because they had to. Hey, Alan Wilson, good to see you. Says maybe the bull took the night off because the market is closed. Funny. So it's down and to the left. Cynthia Beal, it's good to see you, my friend. You know, I don't think we've streamed this part of the campus before, but it's really nice. Yeah, I mean, so to your point, Zillow really got caught with their pants down, for lack of a better terminology. And Zillow, essentially what they were doing is they were acquiring so many properties for cash and trying to flip them or during a flipping business. But essentially that essentially bit them in the rear, and they were forced to liquidate almost $500 million worth of real estate. Here we are, right here. We got the Miami. You know, I think it's very fitting to put the bull here because I think this is the trading center here at Miami-Dade College. CC says, Tom, curious to know what condo prices look like in Fort Lauderdale and Boca. Looking for a 1.5 bedroom with 1.5 bathroom in a nice condominium. So I'm not actually too sure of those prices. I know that you could, down in Brickell, I know you could probably get a studio for like $350,000. But I'll have to check the prices in Fort Lauderdale. I'll have to check the prices in Fort Lauderdale for sure. So I'm going to start this year. One of my goals is to break into the real estate market here in Miami, but mainly for M&A deals, stuff like that. So I will keep you guys updated on that. So here we have it. Here we have the bull, the Miami bull, and I think it's actually lighting up, which is insane. For uses, that's what they do. The guys that started PennyMac were the Countrywide before Countrywide went under. Then they formed PennyMac and bought all those non-performing loans they originated. That's a good point. Wow, so if you guys like the Miami Bull, give the stream a thumbs up. Yeah, Bernie Williams says it's a Robo Bull. Ruby Falcone says high-tech bull. Man, this thing looks really, really cool. So I did get to see it at the Bitcoin 2022 conference, but I didn't get to see it at night, so I didn't know its eyes light up. Wow, that looks awesome. Yeah, Faith says, wow, it's crazy, isn't it? It's so unique. I'm glad that Miami chose to make it more futuristic and not just copy New York City. So I think this is sort of a symbolism to, Miami's big push towards technology and becoming a tech hub. But check out the detail on its hoof here, I guess you could call it. Hemp Lord says, stamp is fierce. Man, this is like something out of a Transformers movie here. Wow, yeah, you guys definitely have to see this in person. If you're planning on visiting Miami, this is definitely a must see. Hey, WW is here. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. NMB045 says New York City's cultural scene will never be replicated in Miami. Yeah, I think every city is unique in its own way. I don't think I would want to move to Miami if Miami was exactly like New York City. I'm from there. Jay says, I don't know, I have to think about it. DJ says, I'll be in there in May. Nice. All right, so let's head to Brickell because we've already been streaming for about an hour. I always tend to run over time here. But I'll give you guys one last look at the bull. Right here on the campus of Miami-Dade College. And we will head out. Greg says Miami's better than New York sometimes. Yeah, it definitely is, especially during the brutal winter where you're getting relentlessly hammered with wind and rain. But I think New York and Miami are the two places where I want to be. So that's where I've tried to build out my infrastructure. I love the ticker tape here. It's one of my favorite ticker tapes here. Yeah, and if you notice, coming across the screen, a lot of the tech stocks were down big today, and a lot of the consumer staples and a lot of conservative stocks like Coca-Cola were up to flat. And that is because we are having a big bid in interest rates. So interest rates are rising. That means a lot of the enterprise tech and a lot of the disruptive growth are really getting clocked, really getting hammered. So another bright spot or a bright point of the market is oil and gas. I always like to show everybody in the Behind the Street newsletter that I write every week. Every single month, Investors Business Daily, the newspaper, will publish the top new buys list of the top performing mutual fund managers on Wall Street. And it's very telling to look at this list because you can understand fund flows and where money is going or where money is moving around the world. And as of late, and if you guys want to check it out, if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, that is where I post all of that equity research. Feel free to sign up for free. That is, so looking at the new buys list of all the top performing mutual funds in the United States, this is where the smart money is going. And over the past 4 or 5 months, every single time I look at that list, the entire list is flooded with oil and gas. Like almost the entire list is oil and gas stocks, Occidental Petroleum, ticker symbol OXY, some of the consumer staples names and the conservative names like Church & Dwight, ticker symbol CHD. These are all this type of stocks that are in gear. My type of stocks, which is the very disruptive growth, the SaaS companies, the software as a service, those are the stocks that are getting hammered because when you evaluate a company based on its future cash flows, when interest rates are relatively low, or when you live in an environment like we've been living in of artificially low interest rates, those high beta tech stocks tend to do really, really well because a lot of the tech companies' earnings are predicated in the future. But when interest rates are higher right now, their value of those future cash flows are worth less now. So the market has to do a little bit of re-rating. So here is across the street at Miami-Dade College. I think this is one of their largest computer rooms of the Fashion Institute. Hey Faith, good to see you. Says, I have to admit Miami is much cleaner than New York City. I did notice that too. I did notice that as well. Hey, Carol H is here. What's up, Carol? We just saw the Miami Bowl. Hope you're having a good day. Always good to see our pal Carol H. Corey says utilities are doing well also. Yeah, so Corey, to your point, you're right. So utilities, oil and gas, a lot of energy. I think financials have been taking a little bit of a hit, but as interest rates go up, that's very positive for the financial sector. So Goldman Sachs reported, I think today, we're going to hear the rest of the banking industry next week because earnings season is now well into full swing. But here's something I've noticed about portfolio managers. Every time the enterprise software space and the disruptive technologies like Invitae, all of the Cathie Wood stocks, anytime that these stocks are rocking, that means a lot of the smart money on Wall Street is projecting very good times in the economy or a very favorable economic environment. But why would a big mutual fund manager or a hedge fund manager be buying Church & Dwight? I mean, Church & Dwight sells toothpaste. You know, the last thing people are going to stop buying is toothpaste, toothbrushes, toiletries, baking soda, those type of things. So I think a lot of money or a lot of smart money out there is predicting or hedging for a recession. So if the United States does slip into recessionary territory, you know, I think those particular mutual funds will be well positioned because everybody still needs to brush their teeth. Even if they're not making as much money, they still need to brush their teeth. They still need to shop at Walmart. They still need to shop at Costco. So just a little bit of facts to note there. Hey, Kurt Flirt is here. What's up, my friend? What's up, Kurt Flirt? CC is here. What's up, CC? Says, what is going on, Southern Florida? Good to see you. Ibrahim Azam is joining us in the chat from California. Always good to see you, Ibrahim. Yeah, Jetstar says, Tom, my electric bill had a rate increase this year of 18%. It's insane. Yeah, that's insanity. And just to think about, not too long ago, America was totally energy independent. And now, I mean, not so much. So you can just look at a lot of the utility prices, gas prices. It's insane. But wow, think about that, Jetstar. 18% increase from last year. It's insane. Hey, Gene says it's not fair to either cities to be compared to. Different size and population. CC says toothpaste and mouthwash are needed for sure. Cindy Foley says it's awful. Bernie Williams says in the UK, 50% increase for utilities. It's insane. So, and this is one of the reasons why, you know, when we had that CPI print of almost 8%, you know, if you calculate the CPI like we did back in the 1980s, real inflation would be close to 17%. So even though these 8% numbers are egregious, if we actually calculated CPI like it should be calculated, you would probably be pushing on 20% inflation, as crazy as that sounds. Hey, Jonathan France, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. Kurt Flort says, wow, they are already expensive enough over there. Too expensive, yep. All right, everybody, so now we are on Northeast 1st Street. And we will be hitting into the bridge where we are going to cross over to Brickell. We will be walking past the Bank of America Tower. And hopefully tonight we can make it to Mary Brickell Village. Yeah, 4 uses bingo. Ahmad is here. Good to see you, Ahmad Smiles. Welcome. Jetstar says, just look to the White House for lack of energy independence. CC, welcome. Abdullah is here. Good to see you, Abdullah. So one of the things I noticed about Miami, particularly this street in particular, everything here really closes around like 8 or 9 o'clock. And there's not a lot of foot traffic here, but in Brickell, those areas, there's a ton of foot traffic. But during the day, this place is packed. Almost looks very similar to New York City. But at night, pretty much nobody. Pretty much nobody. And I think this is Flagler Street, which is a very notable street. Very famous street in Miami. Ahmad says, how are you loving Miami? I'm liking it a lot. Thank you for asking. Much appreciated. Hey, the Mighty Bull just in time. So the Mighty Bull, if you rewind the stream about 10 or 15 minutes, we just got a good look at the brand new Miami Bowl. Because if you remember correctly, the Miami Bowl was originally located right outside of the Miami Beach Convention Center for the 2022 Bitcoin conference, but they actually just moved it back to Miami-Dade College. So it will be at its final resting place here in downtown Miami. Yeah, Carol H, isn't it cool? Very, very high tech, very cool bowl. So this is an Ingram building. I believe they turned this into luxury apartments. Bernie Williams is, how much is gasoline prices in the US now? Here in the UK, it's probably $8 a gallon. Oh my God. I don't think it's that bad. You know what? We might as well do it. Let's do a poll in the chat. So wherever you're from, anywhere in the world or anywhere in the United States, let's take a quick poll on what the gasoline prices are at the pumps nearest you. We've done this before. I have a rough estimate of what they were before those numbers. But I think it'll be cool to do it again to gauge where the average price is. So if you want to participate, please put in the chat what gas prices are per gallon wherever you are in the United States or across the world. Hey, Ahmad is here, says, my pleasure. I live in Southern Florida, but not Miami, but in a different spot in Southern Florida. Hey, Ahmad, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. The ABX girl says $3.88 in Raleigh, North Carolina. WW says $4.50. Wow. Fidel Cashflow says $4.65. $4.09 in Coral Springs, Florida. Sunshine after rain says 380 in New Mexico. Okay. Cindy Foley says 370. Jay says 389. Jetstar says Fort Myers, Florida, 459. That's expensive, man. Hey, Manthony says paid $6.09 a gallon in San Diego today. Wow. So San Diego, California, $6.09. That's a lot. Scott says Scotland, is that per liter though? WW says 450 in the suburbs of Chicago right now. Michelle K says 388 in southern Jersey. CC says 430 per gallon in New York. So it seems like it's pretty much the same since last time we took this poll. Because the last time we took the poll, California, LA, San Diego blew the numbers out of the water. Alan says 409 in Sarasota, Florida. James says 364 in Wisconsin. I think that's probably the lowest number we've gotten all night, James. Whoa, Otto says British Vancouver, BC is $4.90 a gallon. Oh my God. So is that in Canadian CAD or is that in US dollars though, Alan? Or Otto? Herbert, good to see you, my friend, says $6.49 in California. Wow. That's insane. So Otto, I'd be interested to see if your number is in CAD. Hey, the Jet Fighter says, what's up, Tom? It is $3.59. Wow. Mohammed says here in Malaysia it is $0.40 or it's 48 cents per liter. Wow. Jonathan Francis, $5.15 in Vegas. Yeah, Vegas always tends to have high prices. Really, really high prices in Vegas. Yeah, Kingsland Capital, Cecile is trading at 106 a barrel, still high. Yeah, so I mean, so that's a good point. So Kingsland Capital, very good point. So we talk about the CL ticker symbol for the futures contracts of crude oil. I believe about 2 months ago we hit a peak of about $130 a barrel, which is insane. But we've since sold off very, very sharply. But we have now regained the 50-day moving average right around $100. So we'll see if we can hold above 100. And I think they need to keep crude oil propped up or the equity markets could fall apart, because whenever crude oil gets a bid, that in turn gives a bid to the energy sector. And if we think about the weighting in the S&P 500, the energy sector and the financial sector makes up a pretty hefty weighting in the S&P 500. So as those energy companies get a bid, large investment banks across the United States and globally own a lot of the debt of a lot of these oil companies and a lot of common stock of a lot of these oil companies too. So they both get a bid when crude is high. So if we have a steep sell-off in crude, I think we could have equities even under pressure even more than they already are right now. So check this out. This is the beautiful Miami Tower, or the City National Bank building here, very close to the Whole Foods. Hey, NG is here. Says hello, Tom and chat. Good to see you, NG. Always good to see you. Ice is here too. What's up, Ice? I see the Dog Pound. What's up? CC says, Tom, what are your thoughts on ENPIX mutual fund? I've never heard of it, but here's my take on mutual funds. I think a lot of them are ripoffs. I think if you're going to invest your money into a mutual fund, the number one thing you need to watch out for is egregious fees. Because the way money managers make money on Wall Street is not by making their clients money. And I know that may sound crazy, but it's the truth. Money managers on Wall Street make the majority of their money by management fees or fee income. So oftentimes they'll charge their clients 1 or 2% or even upwards of 5% to manage their money. And even if they lose their clients' money, they still collect those management fees. So if you're looking at a mutual fund, make sure you're investing into only the top performing mutual funds that have beaten the market consistently over a 3, 5, and 10 year period. So if your mutual fund that you're looking at has not beat the market over the last 3, 5, and 10 years, you should not touch that particular mutual fund, and you should probably want to keep the fees under 2%. Yeah, Smee Media is like, isn't this where we saw Action Kid yesterday? We did. We bumped into him right on the corner here because he was going to the Whole Foods. Whole Foods is right in here. Hey, WW, says Tom, do you have the attention span to read nowadays? I can't seem to focus whatsoever. Yeah, I think streaming has helped me with my reading skills and my listening comprehension. When I was a kid, I actually struggled a lot with reading, so it's good to walk around for 2 or 3 hours a night and read all the comments. Hey, Kurt Flirt 2 says Occidental Petroleum Corporation, Oxy is looking good right now. You know, you're right, it is, but here's my only issue, Kurt Flirt. And actually, let me know your thoughts on this because I sort of want feedback. I was going to ask you guys this a couple days ago. My expertise is not in oil and gas. I don't really know much about it. I'm not a big commodities guy. That's not my expertise. But where I do have expertise is in enterprise software. I've been in enterprise software my entire career. I made some pretty decent money selling at tech companies, in tech and telecom companies. So that is the industry where I'm comfortable at. I know how to value these companies. I know how they trade. So those companies right now are all getting hammered. They're all out of favor. So I really don't want to style drift and buy an oil company that I really don't know too much about. I would rather wait for my type of stocks to be back in gear to make some money. So my actively managed portfolio is now up, especially after today. I got stopped out of a bunch of names. Now up to about 80% cash in my actively managed portfolio. Now, I'm fully invested into the S&P 500 that I dollar cost average into every single week in my retirement accounts, but in those actively managed accounts, I'm pretty much a lot of cash, almost 80% now. So I don't want to style drift because I know the moment I style drift, my type of stocks are going to get in gear and I may miss the move. Dog Pound 1 says, Walks from Wall Street, do you like Fidelity 500 Index Fund? I love the Fidelity 500 Index Fund. I think that's where the majority of people's assets should be, is in a very low cost index fund that tracks the S&P 500. Very low fees, and you'll get all of the corporate profits and dividends from America's greatest companies. I have a very large portion of my net worth in index funds alone. Yeah, Kurt Flirt, you're right. So here's the thing though, if you were followed it from early last year, it's just gone up and continues to rise. You're right. But I don't really want to style drift. I mean, I'm still watching these stocks, but all of them are well below the 50-day, all of them are well below the 200-day. So I just rather wait for that pitch until the market stops discounting these tech stocks. Hey, Jonathan France, good to see you, my friend. I see Jerry. CC says, Tom, how about Vanguard VOO? So VOO is the ticker symbol for the S&P 500, but that is the form of the exchange traded fund. And I think that's a good one as well. Any of the ones that track the S&P are fine. Just as long as they have very, very low management fees. And I think the VOO, or the S&P 500 ticker symbol VOO, the Vanguard ETF, has like a 0.04% expense ratio. So that means what? If you have about, for every, what is the math on that? For every $1 million you have invested, you pay what, $1,000 or less, $100? Kurt Flirt says, I get that, Tom, and you might be true, but sometimes you just have to break away from the norms and take shots at things. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I sort of try to run my fund like they do at an investment bank, right? So if you get a job in sales and trading, or if you get a job in equity research, they assign you to a specific sector, right? They don't have an equity research analyst covering, let's say, tech stocks, and then you're also going to cover oil stocks, right? They want you very laser focused on one thing. So I think that's why I've sort of been like that. And also, selling into the enterprise or the Fortune 500 has allowed me to understand why specific chief technology officers at major companies buy certain types of software and certain types of telecom products as opposed to the others. So I think that may give me a little bit of an edge. WW, what's up? Wow, WW is an AP Calc teacher, very cool. Frank Gonzalez says, Tom, hello, longtime friend. Would you consider getting hired as a personal FA for any of those wealthy folks out there? Probably not, probably not. I'm not licensed for any of that, and I think you need to get licensed for that. And I don't have any sort of certifications or licenses. Jerry says that's a hedge fund's manager's ride. Probably. I think this is Cosmo Scary's ride here. I think this is a, what are those, Rolls Royce SUVs? Tin Man says, hey Tom, good to see you. Tin Man, I see John Cardy says, nice cars, welcome. So let's check out the Miami Riverwalk. Yeah, WW says $4 for every $10,000 invested. Deja Vu says, what about biotech? Yeah, so biotech, you can make a lot of money in biotech, but here's the one reason why I never got involved in biotech. And I'll tell you right after I cross the street. So I want to make sure I don't get knocked off. So here's the thing about biotech stocks. I don't think I'm smart enough to understand all the multifaceted craziness that goes on in the pharmaceutical world. Because essentially, let's say if you have a micro cap or even a small cap biotech company, essentially, well, oftentimes, I'm not going to say all the time, but oftentimes at a biotech company, all of their revenues, and many of these companies are pre-revenue, by the way, all of their revenues are predicated off of one thing and one thing alone, and that is their ability to get their drug FDA approval. So I'll give you a scenario that may happen. There may be rumors out there on Wall Street that the clinical trials are going so well and they made it to stage 3, stage 4, whatever it may be. And the rumor on the street is that they're going to have the drug FDA approved and it's going to go to market and the stock's going to go to the moon. Well, oftentimes than not, what happens is you'll have a piece of news come across the Bloomberg terminal that says biotech stock XYZ, the clinical trial went south and the FDA is not going to approve the drug and the stock goes to zero overnight. Now, I kind of know when to stay in my lane. I'm not a pharmaceutical guy. I don't really understand pharmaceuticals. I'm not an engineer. My brother does. He is a biomedical engineer. That's just not my area of expertise. So I don't really want to speculate or put my hard-earned money in something I really just don't understand, in all transparency. And that may be just my own ignorance, but that's sort of how I think about it. John Cardy says, beautiful view. Thank you, John. So now we are looking at the W Hotel here. Tracy says, just invest in some acid beats. All drugs. Well, an interesting part of the market is the psychedelics market. I think that's actually going to be really, really big. Hey, Tim Murphy. What's up, Tim? Says, wow, Miami is paradise. Good to see you, Tim. Big Dog Pound 1. Good to see you. Chris West. Ruby says, please no getting knocked off, Tom. I'll try not to. It feels like a Friday, but it's a Thursday. I think tomorrow is going to be a very, very slow day at work, which is awesome. Hey, everybody, we got Joey Coffee here. So if you guys want to support a local business, I know I say local because I'm from New York. So Joey in the chat, he does own his own coffee company, and he was nice enough to send me some products for free. He didn't even charge me for them. Very nice guy. And it's really, really good stuff. And I'm not just saying that because he sent it to me for free. I'm being honest. The cans, the individualized cans of coffee that this guy has are so convenient, number one. So convenient. And extremely, extremely good. The coffee's not acidic. It's fantastic. So if you want to check it out for yourself, Please just type into the chat to our friend Joey Coffee and he will drop a link to something or his coffee company. But a lot of cool products, a lot of cool coffee beans, but the one I would recommend is the individual cans of coffee. It's like popping open a soda, but instead it's coffee. It's fantastic, and it's not acidic. So that's the only type of coffee I've actually been able to drink black without any half and half, because it's not really acidic. So very good, and I will be ordering more very soon. Kurt Flirts is telling the link to the website. I think I probably have it in the Nightbot somewhere, but Joey, you're more than welcome to punch it in the now we have to cross back over the street. So this is the Aston Martin residences. It is going to be completed sometime this year. But the only thing it's created massive, I don't really want to say pandemonium, but just the construction is spilling over into the street, so a lot of the sidewalks are closed down here. Hey, Tracy Police says, think Google history for bad coffee. Or thank Google history. It says hackers probably keep the best coffee for themselves. Funny. Well, somebody told me in the, maybe this is it, supposedly in the lobby of the Aston Martin building, there's supposed to be a one-of-a-kind Aston Martin car. I'm not sure if this is it. It's probably not it. But check this out. There's a miniature Aston Martin building in here. Very cool. All of the new construction in Miami, essentially the first sort of 5 stories of any new building here is either, number one, it's either just all empty concrete space or it's a parking garage, because they get crazy amounts of flooding here, and it would probably cause a lot of damage to the apartments if they had ground floor apartments. Hey, Mothman of Vlad says, hey, I think Action Kid was there today. So we actually ran into Action Kid in person yesterday, which was actually really cool. It's good to run into him. Hey, CC says, Tom, I'm a partner in a commercial solar development firm. I have high confidence in manufacturer Enphase. Dude, I made a lot of money in that stock. Great stock for solar equipment. Goes even though it's down today. CC, I'm very intrigued by your comment. Can you send me an email? I'm not sure if you're signed up to read the newsletter or not, but if you send me an email at walkswallstreet@gmail.com, if you don't mind, I want to ask you a couple questions. If you don't mind. If you mind, no big deal. But if you want to send me an email, I want to pick your brain if you'd allow. I have a couple key questions I want to ask you, if that sounds fair enough. But that's awesome, CC. I'm very, very familiar with Enphase. I actually did some financial modeling for a hedge fund on that stock. So I'd be really interested in talking to you about that. So here we have an advertisement for Gemini. So this is really the only cryptocurrency exchange that I would recommend, is Gemini. And the reason why I say that is because Gemini is founded by the Winklevoss twins. You could think of them from the movie Facebook. Well, I'm not sure that's what the movie's called, but essentially Mark Zuckerberg stole the idea from Facebook from those two guys, but they've went on to build their own cryptocurrency exchange, and I think they're one of the largest Bitcoin whales, or the largest Bitcoin holders in the world. And they do a really good job of being in compliance with regulatory agencies in the United States. So I think if you want to buy Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies in a way where the regulators are not going to get at you over time, I think Gemini is probably your best bet to be in compliance. Yeah, Joey, the weather is fantastic. Today it was crazy hot. It was like 85 degrees today. So I'm not sure what this hotel is called, but a lot of beautiful cars and a lot of interesting things here. Dog pounds is a Gemini symbol. So it's not publicly traded, Gemini. But this is one of my favorite Teslas, by the way. Speaking of Elon Musk's potential hostile takeover of Twitter. But the thing is, and I think this is what I really learned about attending the Bitcoin 2022 conference and listening to Kevin O'Leary's keynote speech, is that in order for mainstream adoption and additional funding to grow the cryptocurrency economy, you're going to need regulatory involvement. And I think this is very contrary to what the fundamental values or the fundamental belief systems were for Bitcoin. And this is how I found out about Bitcoin from a lot of my libertarian friends back in 2017. But I think if you want to see additional products and services being built on the rails of Bitcoin, you're going to need regulatory oversight, right? Because once you have regulatory oversight, that allows large institutional players to fund startup companies and to attract talent from all over the world to develop in the United States, more importantly. In the Western world, we want to keep a lot of that talent. And you're going to need it. You're going to need regulatory oversight. So, Elliott Wave Reviews says, Tom, you trust centralized exchanges. Some recommend an offline wallet and your holdings, and you own your private keys. Yeah, so Elliott Wave Review. I wrote about that in the Behind the Street newsletter, talking about, not your keys, not your crypto. So I buy my Bitcoin from centralized exchanges, yes I do, but I move all of my Bitcoin offline into a hardware wallet. And I was actually talking with the CEO at the Bitcoin 2022 conference of a hardware wallet called Ballet. So we're actually going to be doing, I'm actually going to be giving away a hardware wallet to somebody. I got to figure out how I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll do it in the newsletter. But Ballet is a cryptocurrency wallet company, a hardware wallet or a cold storage, I guess you could call it. Whoa, look at that fish. He's right there. I guess you could call it a paper wallet. And it's owned by Bobby Lee. And Bobby Lee was one of the first investors in Bitcoin and went on to launch many exchanges in China and the like. So he actually wrote a book. If you guys want to learn more about Bobby Lee in general, he actually wrote a book called The Promise of Bitcoin. And I had the pleasure of actually talking with him for 15 or 20 minutes at the conference. Really, really good guy. And he actually gave me a couple wallets, which was pretty cool. I want to see if we could see any more fish from here. Hey, the ABX girl, good to see you. Jerry says, if Mickey D's accepts Bitcoin, I'm all in. Funny. Check out the full moon here, insane. Hey, Lane Kenner says it was 80 degrees today in Valley Stream, Long Island. Love Valley Stream. Steven says, I need me a cold wallet. There aren't that many that aren't Chinese. Yeah, so I think Ledger is French. I think the Ledger wallets are French. CC says, Tom just sent you an email. Let's talk soon. Hey, CC, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I just have a couple quick questions, so I want to thank you up front for that. I do appreciate that. Steven, good to see you. Chris Beeman says, I like this view. Beautiful view here. Jerry, hilarious. Hey, Perry says, hey Tom, glad to see you back in Miami. Thank you, my friend. Let's see if we could see any more fish in here. Sometimes you could see like a dolphin or a manatee swimming around in the water. Lydia says, Tom, has your family visited you in Miami? They have not, unfortunately. Maybe next year, maybe sometime soon. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but about 2 or 3 months ago, we were walking in downtown Miami, and there was a massive yacht with a helicopter on the top of it. It was insane. Hey, Penelope is joining us. Good to see you, Penelope. Always good to see you. Penelope is joining us from Tennessee. Always a pleasure. Hey, Dane M says, great Japanese restaurant behind you. It looks beautiful here. But Dane M, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Ranger One says, I think cryptocurrency is cyberspace money. I don't mess with it. Yeah, so Ranger One, I actually respect that opinion a lot. And I sort of fall into the camp that, look, if you don't understand an investment, you shouldn't invest into it. I mean, it doesn't mean, I think you take the right approach. If you don't understand something, you probably shouldn't allocate any capital to it. If you don't see personal value into it, I think that's actually the appropriate choice. Bernie Williams, like, Tom, have you eaten tonight? I have not, but I did, I bought a barbecue grill today at Walmart. Very impulse buy of me, but I did. And I'm gonna cook some steaks. War Walker says, leave your business cards on the yacht. Hey, Matt Bob is here. What's up, Matt? Always good to see you, my friend. Days Work says, there's a guy in Europe who lost his ledger in a city dump worth $100 million worth of Bitcoin. Oh my God, dude. That's insane. You know, there'll only ever be $21 million, only 21 million Bitcoin. And you can imagine all the cryptocurrency that's lost in wallets and on hard drives and things like that. It's insane. Let's walk here. Sometimes there's bigger and better yachts under here this way. Big Dog Pound 1 says, do you think the United States will head into recession soon? So I'm going to give you 2 answers. My first answer is going to be sort of coinciding, if I could talk right tonight, with what Jamie Dimon said. So Jamie Dimon is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. Quick segue, by the way. There's going to be a brand new JP Morgan Chase building on Park Avenue that looks absolutely insane. So if you guys Google JP Morgan Chase building New York City, I think New York Post has a really nice article. My really good friend that watches the channel sent it to me today. It looks insane. He says he thinks the United States is good for now, but down the road we could be headed into recession. But if we look at historical trends, and this was actually in Barron's over the weekend, if we look at historical trends in terms of the stock market, this is actually very normal market action, and I'll tell you why. Fundstrat Research, which is Thomas Lee's research company in New York City, he's always on CNBC all the time. Not CNN. Hopefully not CNN. Just kidding. He's always on CNBC all the time, and he says that if you look at the data, during midterm election cycles, Q1 and Q2 is always negative to flat for the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. But during the tail end of the year in Q3 and Q4, the returns for the stock market is actually above average. And I think one of the reasons he was speculating in the Barron's article is that Wall Street, whether you like it or not, business and Wall Street likes a very, very convoluted and split government. They don't like a functioning government. Now, they like a functioning government in terms of law and order, but they like a very divided Senate. They like a very divided Congress, because that means there'll be no new regulations on them. So usually in a midterm election year, Q1 and Q2 will be very negative for stocks because you never know if there's going to be a change in leadership that'll change all the tax codes, that'll change all the business regulations. So a lot of investors are very scared about that. That's probably why equity returns are actually negative. But the second half of the year, assuming there's no major changes in the Senate and Congress or whatever you want to call it, or not any new introduction of new regulation, stocks really take off and actually perform quite well in the tail end of the year. So that's sort of my take. I think that everything is still going to be divided after midterms, and I think that we should probably have pretty good returns in the equities market in Q3 and Q4. But I could be wrong, but that's just my take. What about you? What do you think? Hey, John says, great view. Thank you so much. Jerry says, Tom, only your live keeps me awake. Appreciated, Jerry. Much appreciated. Cynthia Beal, the one and only, says, Tom, I could see that JCP building getting taller. My friend's office is on 43rd. It is going up faster now with the green space. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. So if you check out the New York Post article, the pictures are breathtaking of the brand new office. Breathtaking. Savi, I do think that yacht that we were talking about is owned by a Swiss billionaire, I think so. Faith says, Tom, you could send me a pic of your business card to share. Thank you, Faith. I will do that. Thank you, Faith. So check out the Metro Mover going across here. But if you guys are enjoying the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But this looks insane with the Metro Mover going across the bridge here. Hey, Roy S is here. Says, hey, Tom and mods. Good to see you, Roy. Always a pleasure talking to you. Line Sync says, hey, happy Easter from the UK. The moon's looking great over Miami tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Sunshine After Rain, you got it. So Sunshine After Rain did post the New York Post article about the JP Morgan Chase building. So please check that out. Let's see if we could see any fish in here. Kurt Flirt, good to see you. But earnings season did kick off this week with a lot of the financials reporting earnings. But if you look right here, this building is actually the Bank of America Tower. And this is the W Hotel. And the full moon. But let's head back across. I want to walk over the bridge. Yeah, Joey Coffey's like, wow, incredible building. Isn't it insane? It looks like, the reason why I like it is because the architecture it's futuristic, but it's also very classic. It sort of reminds me of like a futuristic Chrysler building. Cindy Foley, much appreciated. Thank you for joining. Carol H says, I did barbecue in Puerto Rico during the power outage last week, and it was a lifesaver. Wow. Carol, please stay safe. So Carol, the barbecue that I bought, so in my backyard I have this massive concrete slab, but in the back of my house there's actually a natural gas hookup. So I just bought a grill, and I'm trying to figure out if I can use that natural gas line to install some sort of a permanent stove in the backyard, like an outdoor grill. I don't know, I gotta figure it out. But right now I'm just gonna buy the propane tanks, but I wanna see if I can build a permanent addition or like a permanent outdoor grill and run it through that natural gas line. I gotta figure it out. Photos from around New York says which building. So photos, we were talking about the brand new JP Morgan Chase building that's going up in New York City. Check out the New York Post article that Sunshine After Rain put up. It's insane, this thing. Hey DJ says, hey Joey, I'd like to order some of the canned coffee. Where could I get some? DJ Harbor. If you have an Instagram, if you follow Cafe Ami on his IG, I think you could get it there. But it's good. Joey sent me some and they're really, really nice. I'm probably gonna order some more as well. Tracy Police is smoked the neighbors out with steaks. Yeah, they may have to come over for steaks. Of water to see if there's any fish. I want to do a sort of like a happy hour live stream where instead of walking around the city, we'll still do the walking tours of the cities and talking about finance, but I think around Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I want to try to do like a happy hour stream where it's a 30-minute session where I'll be behind the desk, I'll be in the office, and we will be going through some charts and recapping the week on Wall Street. But I want to make it an integrated link, so if anybody wants to come up, it'll sort of be like a Zoom happy hour meeting where we could all hang out. So if there's any interest in that, let me know in the comments. I'll probably take a poll, but let me know if that would be something of interest or you think that's would be cool. Hey Diana, thank you so much for the $5 donation. You are way too kind. I really, really appreciate it. Diana, thank you so much for donating to the channel. Much appreciated. Buy the book says that would be great. ABX Girl says sounds good. Jetstar. Yeah, I'm thinking of like, you know, very short 30 minutes. So I'll either be in the office or here at the Wework building. We'll fire up the stream, but it'll be behind the desk. We'll talk about the main topics that happened on Wall Street. And if anybody wants to come up, you could just click the link and we could just all have a nice chat just to sort of kick off the weekend and sort of relax. For uses happy hour stream would be great. Yeah, I'm thinking about making it like, you know, quick 30 minutes, quick recap. You know, maybe we could all get to know each other a little bit better, talk about the markets, we'll review some charts and things like that. And maybe I could share with you guys some of my discounted cash flow models I make. Hey Herbert, thank you so much, my friend. You are too kind. Wow. With the $5 donations, Tom, it blows me away that all these yachts are not secured. Everything is social. Everything in social is behind locked gates. For such a young person, I'm impressed with you. Thank you so much. Herbert, much appreciated. Much appreciated the compliments there, Herbert, and thank you for supporting the stream. Kev says, hey Tom, good to see you. Glenn says interested. Brad's brain says interested, but rarely off by 5 here general time, but great idea. Yeah, that's true. So I will post those streams as well for replay. Cheryl says yes. Jay says I'll be there. Dog Pound says knowledge is power. Let's go, Tom. Warwalker says yeah, man, sounds good, of course. I will tune in. Appreciate it. Yeah, so maybe we'll kick that off next week. We'll do a test. And for those of you who can't make it, we'll like re-upload the stream. But I think that'll be just a quick 30-minute session where I could take, like throughout the week, I'd take notes in my journal about the main notable things that happen on Wall Street, the most important factors. We could talk about them, and then we could also go into like a networking event where if you're looking to break into a big tech company or you want to work in investment banking, maybe we could have guests that try to give tips and tricks on how to land a job on Wall Street, how to land a job in Silicon Valley, stuff like that. Oh, SoCal, Southern California, Tom. Yeah, I have a hard time, I always jumble up my words. But yes, SoCal, you're right. Yeah, Herbert, it's weird because a lot of the yachts are just docked there. And the most notable yacht that is always just docked is this one Swiss billionaire that has his helicopter on the yacht, and it literally just sits there and there's really nobody on it. Maybe like 2 or 3 people. War Walkers, good to see you, War Walker. Ruby Falcone, always good to see you. So this is the JW Marriott. Hey, Ramos has signed me up, appreciate it. Carol H says that would be nice. Roy S says Tom's office might actually be one of those yachts. Yeah, I wish. Dutchman, good to see you. CC says, Tom, great idea, make it happen. We will. So maybe we'll start that next week. Kurt Flirt, appreciate it. Yeah, so I'll probably send out a poll and then we will do it. Elliot Wave Review says, Tom, do you feel like people in Miami are more or less superficial / shallow than New Yorkers? I mean, I kind of have a different way of looking at it. I think it's a good question, but for me, I think it all comes down to the people you associate yourself with, right? So if you associate with people who are very materialistic and are into that type of thing, then I think that's going to be the people in your circle of competence. But if not, I mean, I don't really notice it, to be honest, because I'm not really like that. I mean, and I'm not saying it's bad to sort of, like the finer things in life, but I don't really notice people that are too snobby. Everybody I've came across in my career working in New York City and Miami have been really nice people. So this is the Miami Tower, or the City National Bank building. YCA says maybe 2023 if we do not change the economy, says YCA. Hey, Joyce Carter. What's up, Joyce? Always good to see you. Bernie Williams says, Tom, can I ask, what is it like to work in a Wework office? So it's definitely not for everybody. I do want to be transparent about that. It's not for everybody, but the reason why I like it is because I try to get around people that have similar interests and goals as me. So if you have an office in a Wework, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to be in sort of a startup type environment. So very low budget, you're hustling, you're grinding all the time, you're building products and services, and that's what I'm doing. So I want to be around those type of people that are very high energy, that work long hours, and that are building innovative products and services. So obviously if you work in investment banking, you're going to be in a big tower in the sky. But if you work in tech startups, I think the collaborative environment of a Wework office is almost worth the money in itself. It's almost like one big Y Combinator event, if anybody knows what that is. I enjoy it a lot. So we were just right down here, everybody. Hey, Bernie Williams is superb, Tom. Thanks for that answer. Something I did not know much about. Yeah, it's a lot of people. Whoa, you guys see that? There's a fish right here, but he just swam out of the light. You'll see him, he's right here. You see him? Let's see if he pops back up. Right here. Oh, there's another one. There's 2 or 3 of them. Whoa, look at them all. Let me know if you guys could see that. There's like 3 or 4 of them right here. Herbert says, does Florida have open carry? I don't think so, actually. Yeah, so like a Wework is, like I meet a lot of people in the Wework office that are like a 1 or 2 man shop that are showing me their new software that they built or the new line of code they just wrote. And that's the environment I want to be in. Like, I mean, I've worked at big tech companies or big telecom companies where they already have an established product, but I want to build products. Guys, look at all these fish here, man. I wonder what they're called. There's a lot of them, all right here. Hey, Take Me to the Sea is here. Good to see you, Take Me to the Sea. Mike O, welcome, Mike. Jetstar says fish, I think. Hey, 48, good to see you, my friend. Somebody says usually tarpoon out by the lights. You know, maybe tomorrow, since the market is closed, I'll be able to stream a little bit earlier, and maybe we could see some manatees out. But if you all are enjoying tonight's stream, feel free to hammer the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will give you one more shot of the yacht here. But 48 is joining us from New Zealand. Always good to see him. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Jetstar says bring your rod and tackle next time. And right now we are looking at the Aston Martin building. That is not yet complete, but will be completed relatively soon. Yeah, sunshine after rain says, what about the dolphins? So the only time I saw dolphins down here was that one night when we were streaming at, what was it called? Sunshine After Rain, you remember, right? It was, I forget what marina it was, but we were at Bayside Marketplace and we saw 2 dolphins, but the stream was too dark. Experience. And besides that, I did see a dolphin one time on Long Island, actually. But every time I walk home, I always see the same manatees. There's like a family of manatees that hang out by my house. So now we are walking towards Brickell, which is the financial district in Miami. You have Bank of America Tower right here. I think they're considering it the Latin America, or the Wall Street of Latin America. But here's the W Hotel. Check out, here's another nice car outside. Hey, Miss Brown Eyes, what's up? Good to see you, Miss Brown Eyes. Says hello, everybody. And I see Penelope, says I remember that. Good to see you, Penelope. And I'll give you another look at the incomplete Aston Martin building. That's what they are, yeah. Okay. Trevor says, if you ever pan up, I'm staying in the red Airbnb on the far right W Hotel building a few weeks ago. No way, man. I think that's you right there, this little red spot. Very cool. Yeah, I think they consider it the Wall Street of Latin America. A lot of LATAM banks are here. But Miss Brown Eyes, good to see you. Take me to the sea. Says beautiful, sweet manatees all over through our canals and mangroves. Yeah, if you guys want to see the video of the manatees I took, I put it up on my Instagram, I believe. So if you follow at Walks Wall Street, or if you look in the link in the description, you'll see all the videos of the manatees. Yeah, face like little. You know, I'm surprised there's Airbnb allowed here. I think there was supposedly a massive dispute between the city of Miami Beach and other parts of Miami about Airbnb. But I think Airbnb is a really good way for everyday Americans to sort of monetize their individual assets and to make them cash flowing properties. So I'm actually a big fan of Airbnb. Hey, Sophie Ems is enjoying your live stream. I know nothing about the stock market, but I enjoy your walk and listening to the financial wisdom and viewing the beautiful city. Hey, Sophie, thank you so much for saying that. Much appreciated. Yeah, I try to make this stream about a little bit everything so everybody can enjoy it. So we walk around New York City and Miami and we talk about the financial markets or really anything. So I much appreciate that you're here. Carol H says, I want to buy a small yacht. Carol, if you get a yacht down here, let me know. Hey, Perry says, I believe Miami is second to New York City in international banking. I think that's right. I'm not 100% sure if that's right, but it sounds right. I think you're right. Hey, Marcus is here. What's up? Says, yo, what's going on, bro? Good to see you. FredEx has lots of cool cars tonight. Hey, Miss Brown Eyes, thank you so much for the $4 donation. You are way too kind. Very much appreciated, Miss Brown Eyes. Thank you for the support of the channel, Miss Brown Eyes. Much appreciated. YCA says, yes, please do a happy hour. So I think I'm going to run a YouTube poll. So sometime tomorrow I will post on the YouTube community page just doing a quick poll. And then maybe we will do our first test happy hour stream next Friday. We will see. Hey, Marcus is watching from Atlanta. Good to see you. I'm actually going to be in Atlanta in May. Mid-May, I will be down in Atlanta. Super excited about that. Is this an actual operable payphone? Hey, Herbert, thank you so much for the $2 donation. You are too kind. Much appreciated the support on the channel. This is thanks to the mods for taking out the trash. Appreciate it. Thank you, mods. Elliott Wave Review says, yo, Tom, do you know an outdoor co-working space in Miami? Ooh, that'd be interesting. I'm not too sure about outdoor. But you know what? There may be a Wework in Wynwood that may have some outdoor spaces in Wynwood. But I'm not 100% on that. So here we are at the Bank of America Tower. The ABX girl, you're right. Yeah, Charlotte does have a lot of finance. I think that's where EBITDA works. I think EBITDA works at the Bank of America in Charlotte. Hey, Al J is joining us. Good to see you, Al J. Welcome. All right, we'll try to cross the street here. So now we are headed towards Mary-Brickell Village, where the sort of indoor-outdoor mall is. Photos from around New York to Charlotte, North Carolina, one of the fastest growing cities in America. So on Monday, I will be sending out the Behind the Street newsletter. It's going to be a special issue because we are in the full swing of earnings season. So there's a couple individual stocks I wanted to do a deep dive and cover in depth. So we will be doing a special Behind the Street newsletter earnings out on Monday. So it may be the newsletter because we are going to be doing a pretty deep dive into a lot of the enterprise tech companies. We're going to be talking about the fixed income market, emerging markets as well. I think there's a few specific sectors in key emerging markets that are worth noting. So we will be writing about that in the Behind the Street newsletter. If you are not signed up, if you type !news, NEWS, the Nightbot will drop the link. If you click the link, it'll take you there. And you can make sure you're up to date on all of my market thoughts, as we will send them to you for free every single week. But here we are at Brickell City Center. You know, I may be down here tomorrow. I'm not too sure where I'm going to be tomorrow, but maybe I'll be down here. There's probably not going to be too many people because everybody's pretty much off tomorrow. Hey, Line Sync. This is continuing to be impressed by the stunning HD picture quality and broadcast quality audio of your streams. What type of mic are you using? So that's a good question. I'm going to get you the exact make and model of the microphone I'm using, but it's literally a $10, like $10 to $20 microphone I bought off Amazon. And it's not bad. It's not bad. But we are streaming on an iPhone 13 mini. Hey, Laytha's here. Just hello, Tom, and everybody in the chat. Hope you're well this evening. What's up, Laytha? Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. So Laytha, it was sort of a multifaceted stream. We talked about the bond market, so that 10-year U.S. Treasury yield is now approaching on 3%. I think it's going to crack 3% relatively soon and make a run for 3.5%. Obviously, the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is now over 5% for the first time since 2011. That should put pressure on not only U.S. equities, but it should put pressure on single-family housing prices. So hopefully we have some price stability and a little bit of a correction in the housing market. I think that would be good for the economy long term. But the bond market is just getting crushed. I mean, if you have exposure to bonds, you're getting hit hard. Hey, S says that was a nice blue Tesla. Indeed it was. Indeed it was. So this is the KPMG building right here. Yo, Cosmo's here. What's up? Cosmo Scary, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. You know, Cosmo, we were briefly talking about Elon Musk and the potential takeover, but you know, I was on Twitter today and Elon Musk was going at it hard with one of the, I think it was one of the royal crown princes in Saudi Arabia, or one of the members of the kingdom. So I think that's going to be interesting. We sort of talked about that, as well as the rising interest rate environment in the housing market. Yeah, photos from around New York says futures are down across the board, by the way. Definitely not good. But my phone is approaching the dead zone. So we may have to wrap it up here. Wow, we've already been streaming for 2 hours. Time flies when you're having fun. Hey, Talvish says, hey, Walk Wall Street, how are you, man? I'm doing really good, Talvish. I appreciate you being here. We had a good conversation tonight on tonight's stream. LJ, I appreciate it. But I think we're going to end it here, guys, because my phone is going to die. So I appreciate everybody coming tonight. I appreciate everybody joining. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Have a great Easter and a happy Good Friday to everybody who celebrates. You can have some time to reflect and be thankful for what we all have. If you want to sign up for the Behind the Street newsletter, if you scan the QR code on your screen, it'll bring you to the page where you can sign up for free at the Behind the Street newsletter. And I will see everybody right back here tomorrow. We may not be streaming tomorrow because it is Good Friday. I sort of like to take the day off and reflect just for religious purposes. But to all those who celebrate, have a fantastic Easter. Really, really appreciate you joining tonight. So photos from around New York: Roy S., Jay, John, Abdullah. All of our moderators appreciate it. Lizzie Hatch, Cosmo Scary, the one and only Baruch Bearcat, Abdullah, Muhammad, Gregory, Joey Coffee, much appreciated. Yeah, Laytha, everybody, all the viewers, much appreciated. And to the Mighty Bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there is always a bull market somewhere, and you just need to know where to look. And I will see you all right back here, probably on Saturday, to be honest. Probably on Saturday. So yeah, take care, guys, and I will see you in the next one. And look out, next Friday, we may have the first edition of the Walks in Wall Street Happy Hour. So take care, everybody. Be safe. I'll see you in the next one.